Chapter 7, Section 5 is multiplying polynomials. In these first examples, we are just multiplying polynomials. We multiply the numbers out front. 2 times 7 is 14. And when you multiply, you add your exponents. X times x to the third is x to the fourth. So 14, x to the fourth. Example 2, we have a 3, a 5, and a negative. So that is a negative 15. We have m squared, m, and m to the fourth. 2 plus 1 plus 4 is 7. And n, and n is n to the third. So negative 15, m to the seventh, n to the third. And example 3, 1/4 times 12. That's like saying 12 divided by 4 is 3. X squared times x to the third is x to the fifth. When you multiply, you add exponents. Y times y to the fourth is y to the fifth. And z squared times z to the fifth is z to the seventh. So our answer is 3, x to the fifth, y to the fifth, z to the seventh. 4 and 5, we need to distribute. And we need to take that 5 and multiply everything in the quantity by that. 5 times 3 is 15, and you need the x squared in there. 5 times 4x is 20x. And 5 times a negative 7, there's a subtract in there, will either be a subtract 35 or a plus a negative 35. Example 5 is again a distributive property. 4r squared s squared times r ends up being 4r to the third s squared. When you multiply, you add those exponents. And then 4r squared s squared times 3s will be a 12r squared s to the third. And you'll notice I kept the subtract sign in the middle there. The two methods for multiplying a binomial times a binomial are FOIL, which stands for first, outside, inside, last, or it's kind of like a double distributive property where you distribute twice. So number 6, first times first is x squared. The outside is 4x. The inside is 2x. And the last 2 times 4 is 8. So this becomes x squared plus 6x plus 8. Number 7, first is y squared. Outside is 6y. Inside is negative 4y. And last, negative 4 times 6 will be a negative 24. And when you combine like terms, you end up with y squared plus 2y minus 24. Number 8 is x plus 5 squared. And if you have something squared, it's like saying that number times itself. First is x squared. Outside is 5x. Inside is 5x. And last, 5 times 5 is 25. And you end up with x squared. 5x plus 5x is 10x plus 25. Number 9, 2a times a will be 2a squared. Your outside, 2 times 4 is 8. We have an a and a b squared. The inside, we have a negative b squared and an a. I'm going to rewrite that as negative ab squared. And then last, 4b squared times negative b squared is negative 4b to the 4th. And our final answer then is 2a squared plus 7ab squared minus 4b to the 4th. Example 10, multiplying our firsts. 8m to the 3rd times 8m to the 3rd is 8m to the 6th. Outside, 8m to the 3rd minus 3n. 8 times 3 is 24. There's a subtract here, so that's going to make that a negative 24, or a subtract 24. And then we have m to the 3rd n. Inside is a negative n times m to the 3rd, which will be a negative m to the 3rd n. And then last, negative n times negative 3n is negative 3n squared. Final answer, 8m to the 6th minus 25m to the 3rd n minus 3n squared. Oops, sorry, I can't see that. And the last type of question that we're going to do, we have a binomial times a trinomial, and we need to do a distributive property twice. X times x is x squared. I'm sorry, x times x squared is x to the 3rd. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times negative 6 is a negative 6x. Now we have to take this negative 5 times x squared is a negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times 4x is a negative 20x. Negative 5 times negative 6 is a plus 30. And I kind of wrote that up and down like that because now I can add these columns going down. X to the 3rd, a positive 4x squared, a negative 5x squared, and that is a negative x squared. Negative 6x subtract 20x is a negative 26x plus a 30. And number 12, we need to distribute, and then we need to do our second distribute. 3x times x to the 3rd is 3x to the 4th. 3x times 4x squared is 12x to the 3rd. And 3x times negative 7 is a negative 21x. 1 times x to the 3rd is an x to the 3rd. 1 times 4x squared is 4x squared. Put it kind of right here. And 1 times negative 7 is a negative 7. Final answer then, 3x to the 4th plus x to the 3rd. I'm sorry. Plus 12x to the 3rd. Sorry, adding our x to the 3rd is 12x to the 3rd plus x to the 3rd is 13x to the 3rd. Then we have a 4x squared, a minus 21x, and a minus 7. So 3x to the 4th plus 13x squared plus 4x squared minus 21x minus 7.